Welcome back, viewers. Today we dive into an uncomfortable truth the royal PR machine would rather you ignore. There's a saying that a picture is worth 1,000 words, and when the picture in question involves Prince William and his disgraced uncle, Prince Andrew, it's not just 1,000 words, it's 1,000 uncomfortable truths. These two royals were recently spotted at the Duchess of Kent's funeral, looking like two peas in a pod, chatting, laughing and sharing a camaraderie that many found surprising. Now, this isn't a casual family gathering we're talking about. This is a public event, a place where every gesture is scrutinised and every interaction is a potential headline. And in such a setting, the chummy display between William and Andrew is not just surprising, it's revealing. Because let's remember who we're dealing with here. Prince Andrew, the man embroiled in scandal, whose reputation has been tarnished by serious allegations. And Prince William, the future king, who is always mindful of his image, always careful about the impressions he leaves. Now you might think, well, they're family, it's only natural they'd interact at a family event. But remember, in the royal world, family ties don't always translate into public camaraderie. And yet, here we see William, not just interacting with Andrew, but laughing with him, looking comfortable and at ease. This isn't just about a momentary lapse in judgment or a slip of the mask. This is about what that interaction signifies. It's about the message it sends to the world. And the message, it seems, is clear. Despite the scandal, despite the allegations, Andrew is still very much a part of the royal circle. He's still welcome, still accepted, still one of them. So what does this really mean? It means that the veneer of respectability, the facade of moral authority that the royals so carefully maintain, may just be that, a facade. And beneath it lies a very different reality, a reality where scandals are overlooked, where uncomfortable truths are swept under the rug. So, what does this really mean? It means that the royal family might just be more comfortable with the uncomfortable truth than they'd like us to believe. Andrew knew exactly what he was doing. The man isn't stupid. Let's take a moment to dissect this. Andrew is no stranger to the ways of the world. He understands the power of perception. His public interaction with William was not a mere coincidence. It was a calculated move, a chess play in the game of public relations. You see, Andrew has been at the receiving end of William's subtle jabs, the whispers to the press that paint him in a less than favourable light. It's a game of shadows and whispers, a game Andrew knows all too well. This public interaction was his way of saying, "You can't ignore me, I am still a part of this family." Now, let's turn our attention to William. You can see him attempting to hold back, trying to maintain a distance, but his efforts are futile. His reactions, his laughter, his body language, they all betray his true feelings. This isn't the face of someone who wants nothing to do with Andrew. Quite the contrary. This is the face of someone who is comfortable around Andrew. William's reaction isn't just surprising, it's revealing. It shows us a side of William that he'd rather keep hidden. It shows us his true colours. It's a stark reminder that, at the end of the day, blood is thicker than water, and no amount of PR can hide that fact. But the most telling part of all this is the laughter. It's not the forced laughter of someone caught in an awkward situation. It's the genuine laughter of someone who feels at ease, someone who feels comfortable. It's the laughter of familiarity and camaraderie. You don't laugh like that with someone you want nothing to do with. You laugh like that with someone you're comfortable with. So, what does this say about William and Andrew's relationship? Only time will tell. But one thing is for sure. There's more to this story than meets the eye. And this isn't even new. Let's not forget, William drove Andrew to church right after Andrew's infamous £12 million payout to Virginia Joffrey. That's right, the future King of England escorting a disgraced royal to a place of worship. A bold move that screams solidarity. It's as if he was saying, yes, we've all heard the allegations. Yes, we're aware of the scandal. But at the end of the day, he's family. And in this family, we stick together. But, you see, that's where the problem lies. This very act of solidarity is not extended to all members of the royal brood. Let's take a stroll down memory lane, shall we? Remember when Prince Harry and Meghan Markle made the brave decision to step back from their royal duties? The palace's response was swift and unyielding. There was no driving to church, no shared laughs caught on camera, no show of unity. Instead, the couple was met with a barrage of criticism, both from the palace and the press. Accusations flew, rumours swirled, and the knives were most certainly out. It was a stark contrast to the response to Prince Andrew's scandal. The double standard was, and still is, glaringly obvious. It's curious, isn't it? When Harry and Meghan sought to protect their mental health and the well-being of their family, they were labelled as traitors, as outcasts. But when Andrew faced serious allegations, he was protected, driven to church, and laughed with at public events. These contrasting reactions beg the question, what message is the palace sending? That it's more acceptable to be embroiled in scandal than to prioritise one's mental health? That certain members are more deserving of support than others? But when it comes to Harry or Meghan, the knives are out. It's a harsh reality, but one that we must face. The double standards are clear as day, and it's high time we call them out. William being seen with Andrew laughing at a funeral isn't just bad optics, it's a revelation. It's a revelation that unearths the stark reality of how the royal family operates. The spectacle of Prince William casually engaging with his disgraced uncle, Prince Andrew, in public view is far more than a fleeting moment caught on camera. It is a transparent display of the family's values and priorities that are often concealed behind the palace walls. The laughter and camaraderie shared between William and Andrew is not just an isolated incident, but a reflection of the family's approach to scandal and controversy. It's a window into a system that willingly protects those who should be held accountable while alienating those who dare to challenge its traditions and norms. When we peel back the layers, we find a royal family that is more interested in preserving its image than upholding its integrity. By laughing with Andrew, William is indirectly endorsing his uncle's behaviour, sending a clear message to the world that family ties trump ethical conduct. This is not just a failure of personal judgment, but a systemic failure of the royal institution. What does this tell us about the family's priorities? It reveals a disturbing preference for maintaining a facade of unity, even if it comes at the cost of moral responsibility. It signals a willingness to overlook egregious misconduct if it means keeping the family intact. This incident also brings into sharp focus the glaring double standards within the royal family. While Andrew is greeted with laughter despite his scandal-ridden past, Meghan and Harry are met with relentless criticism for simply choosing to live their lives on their own terms. This discrepancy is not just unfair, it is downright hypocritical. So what are we to make of all this? The message is as clear as day. The royal family is a fortress that protects its own, regardless of their actions. It is an institution that values loyalty over honesty, appearances over authenticity, and preservation over progress. Protect the guilty, punish the honest. This is the unspoken rule that governs the royal family, and it is a rule that needs to be challenged. So next time you hear about the future king's moral leadership, remember this moment. Reflect on the image of Prince William, the future king, chuckling with Prince Andrew, a man embroiled in one of the most notorious scandals of our time. For all his talk of integrity, dignity, and the future of the monarchy, William's actions speak louder than his words. Rather than distancing himself from Andrew, he's seen laughing and chatting, the embodiment of camaraderie and familial warmth. This isn't just a one-off moment, it's a pattern of behaviour that reveals more than the palace would like us to see. Consider the contrast. When it comes to Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, the palace has been quick to express its disapproval. Yet when it comes to Andrew, a deafening silence prevails. The palace's selective outrage is a clear indication of its double standards. Is this the moral leadership we're supposed to admire? A future king who stands by his disgraced uncle, while his brother and sister-in-law are vilified for daring to speak their truth? It's a bitter pill to swallow, and it's a clear example of the palace's hypocrisy. Don't let the palace spin this narrative. Don't accept their attempts to downplay William's actions. We've seen the smiles, we've seen the body language, we've seen the hypocrisy, and it's time we start holding our public figures to a higher standard. We must question the palace's values when it protects the guilty and punishes the honest. We must demand accountability from those who would be our leaders. And most importantly, we must not forget the hypocrisy we've witnessed. Because nothing screams hypocrisy louder than a man laughing alongside Prince Andrew after everything we know. Thank you for watching.